Ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuning into the very best. It's yours truly, Jazzy Fizzle, Fizzle, Fizzle. And this is Instinct Radio, man. Tune in, baby. Oh, boy.
Who is that on the radio?
Who is that on the radio?
Who is that on the radio?
You really want to know who's on the radio? Come on. Let's talk about it.
Jeffrey. Let's talk about it live with Jeffrey L. Miller. Watching is the best decision you'll ever make. Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Call or text in live. 478-569-6474. Hashtag Let's Talk with Jeffrey. Check us out on www.instinctradio.net or download the Instinct Radio app in your Apple or your Google Play Store.
Let's give them something to talk about.
It's almost showtime, people. Let's tune in to see what Jeffrey has in store for us tonight. And here's your host, Jeffrey L. Miller.
What is going on, Instinct Radio? What is going on, Facebook family? Welcome to Let's Talk About It Live with Jeffrey L. Miller. Today we got some really important topics. We're going to get a little deep on the show today, but before we start, you know what time it is. It's time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions. I'm going to give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have two reasons for the men and two reasons for the women why the habitually single male and the habitually single female might just be single. But here's the disclaimer. Some of what I'm going to talk about may not apply to you. So if it doesn't apply to you, don't put your foot in this Timberland and don't put your foot in the stiletto. But if you hear something that relates to you, I want you to put your foot in both shoes and walk around with them, because you're going to learn something right now. Ladies, you are first. Ladies, you might be single because you are punishing your father. Here's what I mean. You're punishing your father either being there and not treating you well, or you're punishing your father not being there and not being available for you to understand what the connection between the love that a young lady has for her husband and how that develops into the love that she has for her father, and how that transitions to the love she has for her husband. Now, ladies, this is serious. So here's what I need you to do. If you're facing that dilemma, you have to face it head on, because no man can fill that void. No man can actually make up for your father not being there. You're going to have to stand up and tackle that pain and let it heal. And when you let that type of pain heal, the relationships you have going forward with the man will be much healthier. Sonny, what do you think about that?
I agree.
Agree?
It takes a lot to let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just the past, let go of the past, let go of the pain, and move forward. So it definitely plays a part. Your past plays a huge part in you moving forward and you getting in just any relationship that you get into.
Mm-hmm.
It plays a huge part. And I think that you have to be able to identify what role it plays and how it affects you
Yes.
in order to actually address it. And some people can't. If you're not identifying, if you don't know where the issue is, or even that there is an issue,
Right.
then it's hard to address. So I totally agree.
Good deal. Good deal. Here's the number, 478-569-6474. Make sure you dial in and give us your opinion, or send us a text. We'll be glad to talk about it on the air. Fellas, you are up next. Fellas, if you are single, it might be because you don't know how to lead. This is what I mean, fellas. You don't know how to lead or direct or even partner with the woman that you're with. Now, this woman is hardworking. This woman is looking for a man that can partner with her. And when she gives you the opportunity to take the lead, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to start. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to handle the situation and the pressures of leadership. I need you to understand something. As educated as women are, as intelligent as women are, as driven as women are, I would submit to you that many women would love a man that can lead and lead confidently, so they can put some things down, so they can relax a little bit.
So true.
But they can't trust you to lead. And because you can't lead, that might be why you're single. Sonny, what do you think?
I agree. There's a difference between leadership and dictatorship.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where some men get it wrong.
Mm.
They feel that, I gotta let her know who's the man, who wears the pants around here.
Okay.
And then there's going to be a rebelliousness going on. You know, I'm an independent woman. He don't tell me what to do.
Okay.
So I think that, you know, having a leadership is, for me, I think it's in the spirit of the man.
Okay.
You know, I don't necessarily feel like it's something that you can act on. You can just act out.
Right.
You know, I'm just going to act like a leader. That's something that is in you. That's something that is, you've either worked on it or you were born with it, you know, but it's not something that, where you demand and command.
Right.
It's more so it's just inbred in you, and you know, the woman just falls in line. I think, you know, when a man is a leader or he's that person, you just fall in line. There's not even, you don't have to ask a woman to submit.
Ah.
You know, you're not having to do that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Understood. Well said. You heard that now. She said, fellas, when you lead, you don't have to ask a woman to submit. She just falls in line. Now, she's not going to let you lead her astray,
That's the truth.
but if you're leading her in the right direction,
Right.
she'll definitely follow.
Right.
All right, so ladies, don't think I'm going to let you off the hook. Ladies, I need you to understand. Need you to understand that you might be single because your kid's bad. I mean, your kid's bad. And when I say they bad, they're so bad and you defend their bad behavior. You don't want the teachers at the school who are trying to look out for your kids to say nothing to your children. In fact, you will go to the school and fuss at the teacher for daring to say something about your bad child's behavior. Your kid's bad. Don't nobody like bad kids.
Nobody.
And you think they're your perfect little angels. I'm here to tell you right now that there are many men out there that are qualified that would love to partner with you and help you raise your children to create some productive adults. But you are so protective of them and their badasses that you will run that man off for daring to stand up and hold those kids accountable.
Yeah.
Ladies, you might be single because your kid's bad.
Yeah.
Sonny, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, you have to be open to the fact that that person that's going to be in your life is playing a role in those children's lives.
Yes.
And, you know, maybe create some boundaries with you know, just what you're comfortable with going in, you know, those kinds of things. But understand that men and women, we look at things differently. So what we may want for the child may not be best. You know, he may have a approach as a man that you won't take into your consideration as a woman.
Right.
But it's best for the child.
Okay. I agree.
You know, so you have to just be open-minded to that and just know that man. If you're going to have that man around your child, around your children, and you should have a level of trust for him to even have him around your children, let alone, you know, discipline or lead them. So I think that if you're not comfortable with that man leading your children or just guiding them and those kinds of things, I don't think maybe it's time to have him around them, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's important to have an open mind when it comes to that.
Well said, and I agree. Now, ladies, I'm going to tell you this now. Your kids might be cute. I don't care how cute they are. If they bad, you're not going to keep a good man. Now, fellas, don't think that I'm going to let you off the hook. Fellas, you might be single because your kid's bad too. And you have no clue as to how to put down that discipline that kids need. As a matter of fact, what you'll do is you'll turn a blind eye to just how bad your child is, but let somebody else's child do something. You are the first person to open your mouth and say, you need to control your child. I can tell you this. If you get with a woman who believes in holding her children accountable and her kids are well-behaved and mannerable, and you bring this little bad baby around this little woman, that woman's going to want to whoop that child, and she's going to look at you when you don't do it. Now, I'll tell you this, fellas. I need you to understand this sign. If your woman says to you about your child, you're not going to handle that, she does not respect your parental skills. Because no woman really wants to discipline the child all the time. She don't want to be the bad one. She wants to be the nurturer. Right. So, fellas, if you're partnering with a woman and that woman is saying to you, you're not going to handle that, or she looks at you and your little bad baby child running around her house, I can guarantee you that she is not going to be with you for long. And you're going to be single because your kids are bad too. All right. Now, On Facebook Live, Tiffany Yvonne says, nobody likes bad kids.
Nobody.
And yes, we agree with that. Hey, Chantel. And Chantel agrees that nobody likes a bad
Nobody.
kid. 478-569-6474. All right, now, we got through the close your mouth and listen segment. We're going to get a little serious here. We're going to talk about something that everybody needs to be well aware of and hear about. We're going to talk about child abuse. Now, bad kids aside, some kids need to be disciplined, but we're going to talk about it when it goes a little too far. So I'm very fortunate to have with me today Naomi Bennett,
Yeah.
and we're going to be talking about child abuse, ways to know when you're going beyond discipline to abuse. We're going to talk about that. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am a child whooperer.
Look,
My children have been whooped.
I'm all about this. Look, they know.
Okay.
They know.
All right.
Mama gonna whoop you.
All right.
So they know.
Now, see, your voice said, Mama gonna whoop you.
Yeah, right.
See, I ain't scared.
Right.
Now, when I say, go get that belt, put that bass in that voice.
Right.
A little
See, you
bit
got
different.
that bass.
Yes.
I might have to climb a couple chairs, but I don't,
But you find a way to strike fear.
Absolutely.
I understand. I'm right there with you. No problem. So let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to go over some statistics that I found today. And this is child abuse statistics from Child Help. These are statistics that were just compiled. And these are some really bad statistics. It says 28.3% of abuse for children is physical abuse. 28.3%. Next is sexual abuse at 20.7%. Emotional neglect, 14.8%. Emotional abuse, 10.6%. And physical neglect, 9.9%. It goes a little further. It says that child abuse is reported every 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds. It says that referrals to state agencies or child protective services involve 6.6 million children. We have something serious going on, so let's talk about it. So, Naomi, let's do this. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then tell us a little bit about you and your cause.
Well, I'm Naomi, by the way, known as Sunny. Most of you know me as Sunny.
I called her Sunny a couple of times
Yeah.
out of habit because I've only known her as Sunny. When she said Naomi, I'm like, I don't know who that is.
It's cool. It's cool. I am an educator. I also am a huge advocate against child abuse.
Yes.
Okay. So I really want to. I'm actually working on some children's book to deal with adversity and those kinds of things, but. I really want to bring awareness to child abuse because there's a big difference between discipline and child abuse. And I think that some parents, the parents that are the abusers, sometimes throw it into discipline.
Okay.
To make themselves feel better, to make themselves feel comfortable, whatever it is. But there's a difference. And I think the biggest issue is that we're not able to identify it, and we're not able to differentiate.
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. The difference between discipline and abuse. Now, my parents were also whooperers.
Yeah, mine.
I was whooped
Right.
when I was growing up. And I look at the way my father disciplined me and my mother disciplined me. If I screwed up, there were consequences and repercussions.
Right.
Now, help me understand what's wrong with spanking a child who's actually done something wrong.
Well, I don't think anything's wrong if they've done something wrong, and they can even explain to you what they've done.
Okay.
They know what they're getting whooped for. See, I was abused as a child,
Okay.
so I didn't know. You don't know. You're just like, I did everything right. What?
Wow.
There's an expectation that I know it's going to happen today.
Okay.
You're a kid. You have this fight or flight every single day because you're sitting here waiting for it.
Okay.
So that's a lot of energy to have to do. And so that child still can't tell you to this day, still can't explain it. Why? There's no explanation.
Okay.
As opposed to the abuse where,
So I don't make sure I understand you here. In my instance, I got caught smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
Got the beating of my life.
well,
Okay. All right. So that wasn't abuse
Right.
because there was something I did wrong at that time.
Right.
Okay. So the abuse basically, if I'm understanding what you're saying, and unfortunately in your instance was for any reason that didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Wow.
Didn't matter. I mean, and one of those things where you, as a child, you have a lot of responsibility. You're doing things that children should not have to do. You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of your siblings. You're doing everything, and it's still like it's not good enough. And let me find a way. And so it affects you.
Understood.
Even in adulthood, you have to have a lot of God and a lot of I think for me, fortunately for me, I had a lot of people around me who loved me, who took me under their wing,
right?
So to speak, teachers and parents of friends, and so and also it didn't start very early on, so I knew that there was a difference, there was a shift.
Okay.
But I think that with my children, I discipline my children.
Okay.
But they can tell you exactly what they did.
Okay.
They can tell what they've done. They can actually tell you, well, how many times I told them,
right,
or warned them, or when I warned, when it was that I warned them about it. I mean, there's a breakdown of there's a set of events that happens before the discipline. So there has to be some kind of communication to let you know what the expectations are, and that you've crossed boundaries.
Got it. Let me ask you this question. Now, when you went from childhood to adolescence to adult, when did you consciously either break from the pain, or when did you really start healing from the pain of child abuse?
It took a long time. Fortunately, I think that I was very vocal.
Okay.
Towards my parents, and I think that's what helped. And it could be anyone. It doesn't have to be your parents. It can be anyone.
Yes.
So I think that expressing yourself and having some kind of avenue where you can express yourself helps. But I think I started breaking away when I had my children.
Okay.
For the most part. And I think once I had my children, I understood the love that I had for my children.
Right.
I had to start figuring out, how to get rid of that anger,
right,
or that resentment, and also just forgiveness, faith. That helps a lot, because
right,
I had to get to a place of forgiveness. I had to get to a place of just moving forward and not letting that cripple me, because it can. You have 37% of the women that are incarcerated, were abusers' children.
Wow. You
have, all of those things are effects of abuse, and I just didn't want that to affect me in adulthood or affect my children.
Understood. Okay, so let me ask this question. With your parents, are your parents still living now?
They are.
Okay. Have you ever had the conversation with them about the child abuse, and what did it look like if you did?
I did. I have several times
okay,
over many years.
Yes.
Out of frustration, out of trying to understand, out of, just, and honestly, it wasn't addressed. It still wasn't addressed.
Yes.
And so I had to come to a place of just like, okay, I'm not going to get answers.
Okay.
This person has maybe a mental illness. This person has, alcoholism going on, different things that may cause it. So you may never get that closure from them, because they have to come to a place where they can apologize. They can even acknowledge that they've hurt you.
Yes.
So if they're not coming to that place, then, you can't keep looking for that from them.
Yes.
Because it's going to keep you from growing.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to throw a scenario out to you.
Okay.
This is a real scenario. This is something that I actually did.
Okay.
I want to know, should defects have been called on me, or was I just disciplining my child? Okay?
Okay.
Real scenario now, real talk.
Okay.
It was a Friday.
All right.
And my son decided to come in the house at about 2 o'clock in the morning. No call, no show.
That's the problem.
Okay. Now, when he came in the house, I jacked him up.
Right.
Should defects have been called on me, or was I disciplining him?
That was discipline.
That was discipline?
That was discipline. That was discipline.
Okay. Okay.
He did something wrong.
All right.
He knew that he should, I'm sure he knows he should not be coming home 2 o'clock in the morning. So if he knows he shouldn't be coming home 2 o'clock in the morning, he should expect that when he gets home, he's going to get jacked up. That's an expectation.
Okay.
You act up in class and you know better. You might get your behind whooped. You tear up my stuff, you might get. It depends on, the extent, and not just discipline because he didn't follow your rules, but also he could have gotten hurt.
Yes.
All those, he could have gotten hurt. The worry that you're going through during that time.
Yes.
All of those things. It's just he needs to understand that it's not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
So there's a difference between, and then also discipline in the form of discipline. You're whooping them. Are you the type that is giving them a black eye? Are you know what I mean? That's not discipline. If your child leaves from discipline with a black eye,
yes,
that's not discipline.
No black eyes,
No
fortunately.
black eye.
Oh, but he knew
Right.
that he got a whooping that night. He got jacked up.
He deserved it.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to check. All right. Now,
That's just my opinion.
I came home one night. This is real stuff. I came home one night, and my children have been sliding down the stairs on their mattresses.
I thought my life was eventful.
All three of them
Wow.
got whoopings.
Okay.
It took me forever to know whose idea it was to slide down the stairs, but I'm thinking they could have slid on a hardwood floor and slid into the wall,
Right.
hit their head, and
Right.
broke their neck.
Right.
And then they would have got a real whooping for breaking their neck
Right.
and making my insurance go up. But I want to know, because they all got whoopings for that. Was that abuse or was that discipline?
That was discipline.
Okay.
Was discipline. It just they did something. They can tell you, we knew that we were not supposed to. And not only that, the children, after they're disciplined,
Yes.
when it's just discipline, they'll come and hug on you. They'll come and lay with you.
Okay.
They know they've done something wrong.
Yes.
When it's child abuse, it's like that child is hiding somewhere, crying their eyes out, or they're numb.
Got it.
So I think discipline, that was totally discipline.
Thank you.
Mattresses don't belong on stairs.
Man, I tell you what, one last story, and all these stories are true. I see you, Naomi, laughing at my story, kids sliding down the stairs. They slid down the stairs, and they all got whoopings. Now, I was talking to my daughter today about this story, and this is one time that she just had to get a whooping.
Okay.
No way around it.
All right.
My daughter, being as smart as she is, as intelligent as she is, decided one day that she wanted to have company while I wasn't at home.
What kind of company?
Company that wasn't supposed to be in my house.
Okay.
Now, I need you to understand, wasn't nothing going on.
Okay,
But
okay.
you never know.
Right.
You don't have anybody up in my house.
Right.
Because anything could happen.
Right. Right.
Okay, so she got in trouble. And she got a real good whooping.
Okay.
She got a good whooping. Was that abuse?
No.
That was discipline.
One that she'll remember. Yeah, she needed to get her little tail.
Okay. Yes.
We're not being hot.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
We're not doing that.
Not going to happen.
No. So, yeah, that was discipline.
Okay.
That was definitely discipline.
What my kids told me they hated the most, after I whooped them every single time, I said, now come over here and tell me you love me.
Right.
Now, was that abuse?
No.
That wasn't abuse? Making them hug me and tell me you love me?
Make them hug you.
Okay.
And mine, they come and hug me. They come and lay with me. They come and, like nothing happened.
Okay.
And honestly, some people would disagree. Some of the child abuse defects people would feel like, okay, discipline at all is an issue. They would feel like but for me, I feel like just know how to differentiate and know that child needs to understand that it's discipline and not. And I even explained to them the differences.
Right.
If someone touches you inappropriately, that's abuse. If someone, if someone is hurting you and bruising you,
yes,
and those kinds of things, you have to go through that list of, look, I'm not abusing you. This is love.
Yes.
This is correction. As opposed to, do you know what you did? You know what you did.
Yes.
So you know what's going to come. So that's a little different a lot different, I should say, than them not knowing.
Okay, so let's go a little deeper with this. Now, we know that there was a shift roughly 15 years ago where the courts said, parents, don't discipline your child. And they basically empowered the children to be able to call the police.
Right.
And have defects show up just for whooping your child. They basically took discipline out of the home. What do you think the impact on society was by that action by most courts?
It's horrible. It's such a huge impact because it's like, I'd rather discipline my child than have the police deal with them.
Yes.
Especially in this day and age. So my thing is, let me deal with him at home, and let me discipline him, let me get him right, so that you won't have to be doing it, and it puts the child in that situation where children don't have respect for authority anymore.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, my mama she ain't gonna do nothing. Go ahead. I had a child tell me, call my mama. Call him, and it was just like, what, so back in the day, you call your mother, you're gonna be scared, you're
Absolutely.
gonna be terrified. But now it's like, oh, call her, she can't, or I'll just call. And then you have the police that is just ready to just arrest the parent without understanding that, okay, let me explain what happened. So it depends. I think that it causes issues in society. Children are unruly.
Yes.
They lack respect for authority. They don't even listen to the parents half the time. And my thing is, if you're not listening to your parents, who are you going to listen to?
Understood. 478-569-6474. 478-569-6474. Let's see what we got on Facebook Live. Naomi says, true story. A few years ago, my hubby's daughter had the nerve to jump on her mom at age 15. The mother ended up calling Rod, and Rod came there to whoop their daughter's behind, and he did. What do you think about that? Of course, now, child jumping on the parent, I cannot imagine.
I can't even.
My mother's all of 5'4", 80. I still can't imagine even raising my voice at her.
Right.
What do you think about that?
That's a problem. That should definitely be dealt with. I think that there had been something that happened prior to that that made her feel comfortable. And I think a lot of it is that lack of respect for authority.
Right.
And I think that it grows when people are supporting that. You got the school system supporting that. You have, the police and those kinds of things supporting that. Just call it, just don't call it. Call us. And the thing is, the parents feel helpless in a sense.
Wow.
Because it's like, what do you do if you can't, talking doesn't work.
Yes.
You feel like you need to discipline your child, but then you don't want to go to jail.
Okay.
That should be dealt with. I agree. It should have been dealt with.
Understood. Let me ask you this question. Now, you're an educator?
Yes.
What grade level?
I'm not teaching at this moment,
but
I have.
When you were teaching?
Yes.
Tell me about the experience in dealing with parents coming to the school and really protecting the kids and kind of instead of working with you as an adult, they're looking at the kids like the kids are perfect. How did you handle that experience?
I was fortunate.
Okay.
I was very fortunate. The parents, I think that also, too, you have educators who are a bit rough.
Yes.
Let's just be real. And some of them may be biased in some instances. So the parents can be defensive. But I think that when you know the level of the relationship that the educator has with that child.
Right.
You can see that the educator, even for my children, if I see that my kids, and I know my kids.
Yes.
So if you're telling me something that they might have done and it seems like something they would do.
Yes.
I'm listening. I'm going to hear you out. And if it's something new, I'm going to address it as well, because I don't imagine that you're going to lie. Or I'm going to, just go ahead and bring the child in and we'll all discuss it. Try to get through it. But just to jump on that person and say that, okay, well, no, you're wrong, that keeps that in that when that child sees that, oh, I can do whatever I want.
That empowers them.
Yeah.
Understood. Emboldens them even. All right. Another question for you. Now, there are some people who say that whipping or corporal punishment is basically something that we in our community have gotten from slavery. Because when you look at the other community kids, they run around and do anything they want to do.
Right.
They talk to their parents any type of way. But with our children, we make sure that we whoop them to keep them in line. How do you feel about that?
Well, look, I am, I believe in God, and that spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yes.
Okay. So for me, of course, as an educator, you can't whoop on your students, of course. So, but your children know you a lot better than your students.
Right.
And so they tend to push buttons
Mm.
a lot more.
Push buttons, okay.
Because they know your weaknesses. You know, they see you every day in and out, you know, so they know when you're tired. They know when, you know, you're not paying attention. They know, as opposed to your students, you
Yes.
know. So, and then you have the parents that you can call on. But when it's your kids, it's your kids. So I think that I believe in spare the rod, spoil the child, because I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it in my household. When I'm letting things slide, and I'm letting this slide, and I'm letting that slide, they just run amok.
Oh, wow.
So I have to bring them back in line. So I don't feel like it's a slavery thing in my mind. For me, it's a faith thing.
Okay. Got it.
So-
Got it. Okay, now, question. Have you ever seen somebody with a bad child that you just want to snatch up?
Oh, all the time.
Okay, what do you do?
Oh Lord. Well, I might just, you know, hey ma'am, you know, just ask them to get the child.
Yeah.
Or I might speak to the child. You know, sometimes, and people don't like that, but I am a mother
Yes.
at heart all around other
Understood.
people's children.
Understood.
So I might, hey, don't do that. Don't touch you know. you know.
Understood.
So, and they'll look at me, but they'll walk off. So,
Yes.
you know, it just, I have no problem with that.
Yes, I have no problem either talking to your bad child
Right.
about sitting there. Yeah,
Right.
I will definitely say something to a bad child. I can't take it. I just cannot take it. All right, so now in what you're doing right now with the, I think there's a walk coming up very soon. Talk to
Yes.
us about that a little bit.
April 22nd, there is a national child abuse walk.
Okay.
Being led by Lynn Seahorn. She's the founder. And she's looking for volunteers, looking for people to march. Her number is 770-330-4423.
Say it one more time.
770-330-4423.
Okay.
This is for the child abuse walk. Come out, bring snacks, whatever. Just come support, because this is something that, you know, is important, but it's not addressed as
Okay.
much as it should. So I'm so glad that you did this show, because it's important, you know,
Yes.
to bring this to light. So it's a 5th annual
Okay.
march.
All right.
So just come out and support. Needs to be huge, you know, needs to be addressed. So
One
help
more.
these children they're dying every day. You know, you got those kids being left in cars and
Yes.
all kinds of stuff. So just come out and support.
Understood. Give them that contact information one more time.
It is I will give you the website, is www.mmACA.us. Again, www.mmACA.us. The founder is Lynn Seahorn, and this is on April 22nd. The march is, I believe it starts at 11 o'clock or 12, but you can check on the website. Also, her number is 770-330-4423.
Understood. Let's go a little bit further. I found another topic I want to get your feedback. These are some of the mental health disorders, addictions, and related issues that have been directly tied to child abuse. Risk for inmate partner or intimate partner violence, alcoholism and alcohol abuse, illicit drug use, smoking and drinking at an early age, depression, suicide attempts. Being a survivor of child abuse, did you struggle with any of those?
Yeah, I have. I've had to address a lot of things, and I've had to choose to address it.
Yes.
I've had to, you know, just come to a place to even say, all right, whatever it takes, I want to be better. Whatever it takes. So if it means facing myself,
Yes.
if it means, and I've been blessed to have some good people, you know, some people who really sat down with me and showed me myself.
Yes.
To the point where, you know, but I had to want that. I had to want that help, like anything else, like any other issues that you may have, addiction or whatever it may be. You have to want that.
Yes.
So I had to face it. I had to talk about things that were uncomfortable, you know, things I didn't want to relive. I had to talk about it. I was one of those people that suppressed and was numb.
Wow.
So having to come to a place of emotion and be comfortable with emotion took some time.
Wow.
You know, but now it's like I'm a crybaby. I cry at Power Rangers now, so it's it's just
You'll cry at Power Rangers.
yes, it's deep.
Wait.
So-
The Black Ranger, Red Ranger, Power Rangers.
The Black Ranger died at the last
In the movie?
that came. Yeah,
I wanted to see it. You just spoiled it for
I'm
me.
sorry.
You're killing me.
I'm sorry.
You're killing me. Okay, but you cried for real.
I did. The kids were getting on me, but yeah, I cried. Mama, you crying again? So, yeah, like, yeah, so.
All right, good, good. The good thing is that you actually did the work.
Yes.
Too often people with the emotional damage, they never address it and it never heals.
Right.
The thing is, when you actually take the steps to address it and the healing process starts, you come through it much stronger.
You do.
In fact, you can actually deal with more because when a bone breaks, it always heals stronger.
Yeah.
So when emotional wounds heal, you come through more adept and capable of handling other emotional types of situations.
Right.
One last statistic. It says in one study, 80% of 21-year-olds who reported childhood abuse met the criteria for at least one of the psychological disorders we just read. 80%.
That's huge.
That is incredibly huge.
huge.
So the impact is serious.
It is.
What can we do as parents and advocates for the community? What can we do to really help to stem the tide of childhood abuse?
We can try to learn how to identify it first. I think that it's so silent, and it can be so silent that, you know, not being able to know that it's happening. In my household, you didn't know. You know, it was the white picket fence type of situation. So it wasn't the ideal situation where they say, okay, if the child is unkept, if the child has bad grades,
Wow.
if the child has you know, just evidence of abuse, you
Okay.
know, on those kinds of things are not always. It's not always the case. Sometimes it's the emotional. That child is quiet. That child is too quiet.
Wow.
That child is. So it's just being able to that child doesn't speak to anyone. They don't. You know, they rebel at school because that can be their way of getting it out, getting the aggression out. You
Wow.
know, so those kinds of things are important to pay attention to.
And see, thinking about some of my friends that I grew up with and went to school with, a lot of them were very quiet, or a lot of them were very aggressive. And now in hindsight, of course, I'm like, well, I wonder what was happening now, because I can visualize 5 or 6 people that fit exactly what you just described easily. People that were around the street from me or on the same bus as me. And when I say quiet, you know, it's one thing to be quiet and shy,
Right.
but it's another thing to be almost mute,
Right.
where you're known for never saying anything.
Right.
So wow, that's serious. That's
Yeah.
serious.
It is.
Okay.
It totally
Wow.
is.
All right. So tell us about your children.
My children.
No, are they bad? Are they bad?
My 3 boys. No, they're sweet.
They're
They're
sweet.
boys.
But boys aren't sweet then.
They're boys. They're all boy too. They're like football boys.
Well, all
Boys.
football boys ain't sweet then.
But well, I'm a mama, so you
Okay,
know,
okay, I get it. I get
it's
it.
different. For
Okay.
me. I see. You know,
You see sweetness.
I see sweet.
All right.
But no, sometimes you know,
Nah.
they're boys. And they're all boys, so they're active.
Okay.
And they're wrestling and you know
Wrestling each other?
Each other.
Like WWE?
Right.
Wow.
Flipping off stuff. You know.
That's good. That's healthy. Boys are supposed to flip
not
off
for,
stuff.
For me.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So it's different because there's no real balance.
Uh-huh.
So I have to kind of go back and forth from the disciplinarian to the nurturer.
Okay. Got it.
You know, so I have to, all right, toughen up because they're acting up too much.
Uh-huh.
You know, and then, okay, well, come, let me hug you. So that, you know, and they know that, you know, so they know that it takes a little energy to get up to the disciplinarian part.
Okay.
You know, so they'll kind of, you know, but they're good kids. They bring me flowers. They're sweet. They cook. They
Wait, they
treat
cook?
their mom. Yeah, my 13-year-old and my 11-year-old cook.
Now, is he cooking ramen noodles?
No,
Cooking
he is cooking steaks and ribs.
steaks and what?
Yes, the
What?
boy cooks.
Chicken steaks.
Fried chicken.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The boy is cooking.
That-
So
Good. Good. Good.
which helps a lot.
I understand.
So yeah, they're good kids, and you know, I can't complain at all. So
Good deal.
I'm
Good
blessed.
deal. All right. Last question for you. What would you say was the most challenging thing for you on your road to recovery from child abuse?
I think the most challenging is not holding or harboring that hatred towards my parents. That was the hardest thing for me because as a parent, when I became a parent and the amount of love that I had for my children, I just couldn't understand
Right.
how is it that how can you even bring yourself? So that made me just even more resentful. towards them. You know, I had to come to a place and say, okay, well, it's a mental illness, or, you know, I had to come to a place where I accepted it for what it was, and I didn't hold it against them. And then it made me better. I had to look at the fact that it made me a better mother.
Okay.
You know, I tried to look at the positives. You know, some people it doesn't. Some
Yes.
people it makes them, they end up the same way. But for me, it made me a better mother. It made me just better all around. Just understand people, want to understand things, want to communicate with my children more. It made me just even want to, you know, write the books, you know, for the children. Just those kinds of things to help other kids. And, you know, so those, I had to look at that and say, okay, what was my blessing from it? But I had to get to a positive place to do that.
Okay, understood.
So, yeah.
All right. So in putting these books together, what's your thought process and what do you hope to convey to the people that read the books?
My thought process is just bringing awareness and helping some kids come forward. You know, just understanding that, you know, for them to understand that there's a difference, understand what the difference is, and for the ones that are being abused, to help them come forward, and so that it can end, so they don't have that 80%. You know, they're not in that statistic.
Got it.
You know, so they're not having to deal with alcoholism and the, you know, all of the traumatic effects of it.
Understood.
You know, so just trying to prevent it.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Well, listen. First of all, is there anything else, any nuggets of wisdom you want to give people out there right now who are may be where you once were in their struggle and their recovery from child abuse?
I would say first, faith. You know, whatever your faith is, your higher power. You know, I would say that is number one, because you have to come to a place of renewal, where you want renewal, where you want to be healed.
Yes.
Okay, and it takes some help. You need some help. Also, people. You know, if you have people who genuinely love you, care about you, support you, hold on to them and actually go through the process of talking about it, of talking about how much it hurt and you know what you had to deal with, and just go through the process. It's worth it. It's so worth it. It doesn't feel good when you're going through it.
Right.
You're gonna want to cuss whoever it was out. You know, you're gonna want to do some things to them.
Yes.
I mean, you're gonna want to do some things, but you know, once you get through that storm, you know, you get out and you're on the other side, and you could actually look back and see what you've gotten. You know, how you've gotten better, or what you've learned as a person, what it gave you. Some of us, we get those different things from our parents. We learn from our parents the good things,
Right.
you know, through the good things that they do. And some of us learn through the bad things, or whoever it was. We learn through the bad things that they do, what not to do.
Right.
So just look at it that way and try to work on yourself.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
That's more than fair. Well, I'd like to applaud you, first of all, because a lot of people never tackle the pain. They'll do everything they can to escape it, or you know, try to bury it, all types of defense mechanisms, but they never attack it and they never face it. You've broken the cycle.
Thank you.
So that's very important. Right. I really appreciate you coming out to the show and talking to us about this important issue. Child abuse is something that we all have to be responsible for, something that we all have to do our part in eradicating, because as we see, the consequences are just incredibly damaging if we don't address it and stop it very, very soon.
They really are.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, Naomi. Thank you for coming out and talking with us.
You're welcome.
We're going to take a break right now. We're going to shift and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about living the fit life in your 40s. So I see that little, put it up again.
You see that?
You see that little bicep action?
You see that?
It's almost there. It's almost there. We'll be back shortly. This Talk Live with Jeffrey L. Miller.